what's up you guys, this is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today we're doing it YouTube Beauty Guru style when we get dressed to kill with my latest TennoGen haul. Okay, so let's start this whole thing off with a bit of a disclaimer. As you all know, I have a very specific aesthetic, and I tend to be quite picky when it comes to customization. So I don't want anyone to be offended if I don't spotlight something they personally enjoy. The whole theory behind Dress to Kill is about loving what you're wearing regardless of what anyone else thinks. So in that vein, please respect my right to like certain things and not others. And I'll do my best not to give you side-eye when you walk around looking like an Easter Skittle. Now this time around, I'll be covering my favorite Steam Workshop TennoGen items from both this round and the previous round, as I hadn't really done a video on them before. I'll also toss in a few honorable mentions that I personally didn't pick up, but that I genuinely think some of you might appreciate. Now before we get started, I figured I'd show you a quick tip just in case you are on the fence about an item. Instead of looking at it in the market, I suggest you hit your arsenal and preview the item in question live on your Warframe. In addition, you can hit the back button and swap around colors, then reselect the item to see how the new colors look on them. This should give you a pretty good idea of how that item will look with any mix of customizations, and seal the deal on whether you feel it's worth the buy. Now, speaking of buying, do remember that you can only purchase Steam Workshop TennoGen items with real-life currency. So the following is just an FYI on how the cost of TennoGen items compare. When it comes to pricing, realize that 75 Platinum is about $5 US, and the average price for an alternate helmet. Cyandanas, on the other hand, can range from 40 to 90 Platinum on the upper end, which would amount to about $6 worth of Platinum. Most of the TennoGen items do run a little bit higher, but to be honest, some of the skins are worth the extra dollar or two. Now, the first must-have you've probably seen all over the place by now, and that is the Zephyr Hagamoro skin and helmet. Honestly, I lost a ton of faith in customizing Zephyr. This new take introduces much more refined textures and declutters the overall look. In addition, the small details are fabulous, with tiny triangles acting as energy accents all over the frame, and some strategic lining illuminating the top of her hips. Honestly, I think that with a little bit of polish and some gold details, this version could totally be used for the base of the future Zephyr Prime. Totally worth the $7 American that I spent on it. The next on my list of favorites is a throwback to round 1, and that is the Rhoda Cyandana. The form of it is fairly simple, however the detailing is really where this thing shines. From the insignia on the center of the disc, to the flourish that attaches the center strip of cloth, down to the metallic accents on the fabric, it feels like something that stepped right out of the Orokin Empire, and while $7 American is a bit steep for a Cyandana, admittedly it's one of my most asked about accessories, so all in all, definitely a good buy. Moving on, we've got my favorite Cyandana from round 2, the Nasaru Cyandana. Not only do I think this one is absolutely gorgeous with its luxurious swaths of silken asymmetrical cloth and highly polished lotus embellishments, the reason I like it so much is that it fills any gaps that the Rhoda Cyandana doesn't fit. See, I find that the Rhoda Cyandana tends to look best on frames with a wider stature, while the Nasaru looks better on frames that are a bit more slender. Also, I personally prefer the Rhoda on frames that look a bit busier, while the Nasaru looks fantastic on a frame that doesn't have too much going on. But you know, ignore what I just said and do whatever makes you happy. This one is $7 American in the market, so pick it up if you like. Now, this next one you don't need. Don't buy it unless you've got $5 to burn. However, if you do, the Hellkite skin for the Lisette landing craft is fucking gorgeous. You do have to be a bit mindful of the color combinations you use, but once you've played around with it a bit, you'll end up with my favorite landing craft skin to date. And by that I mean out of every single one, TennoGen or by DE's own creative team, this is my pick of the litter. Now it's helmet time, starting with Mesa's Falcon helmet. Dear Lord God, pick this one up. Not only is it absolutely badass looking with that 6-star detail up front, but the actual shape of the brim allows you to see some of the inner details that you may not see otherwise. Not only does it look amazing, it's also quite thoughtful and currently the only Mesa alternate helmet that I like. My only real issue with it is the back section, as I don't feel that it takes color as well as the rest of the skin. Now it is $6 American, which is a bit pricey, however I feel like it's totally worth it. The next one was a total surprise. Chroma's Tarask helmet looks a lot better on your actual frame than it does with the default colorations, so don't be fooled and give it a shot in your arsenal. Now I love this one because both the default and the Omaru helmet feel a bit stubby, while the Drac helmet, as much as I love it, feels a bit long and pointy. The Tarask, however, looks well balanced and kind of like a prehistoric bird with a giant bladed beak, so if you're into that, it'll cost you $6 American. Okay, so that about does it for my must-haves. However, there are a few items in the market that definitely caught my eye. Some I even bought. This includes the Jatuk mantle. I genuinely don't think I'm ever gonna use this because for the most part, I hate the Grenier aesthetic. However, it's a fucking jetpack, so of course I'm gonna buy it. Now, if you're a little bit freer on your aesthetic and you like what you see, you can pick this up for $6 American. The next is actually a skin and helmet set from MAG and is referred to as the Orbit skin. Now, admittedly, it looks cool, but they did do something that dropped it down to an honorable mention. The color assignment for this is a bit off. When you use it on MAG Prime, the metallic shoulder armor and hovering leg bits do not match up to any of the other metallic assignments, which they have 2 of. Now, it definitely triggers my OCD, however the skin itself is quite good and the helmet model is one of the most unique and interesting helmets of the bunch. The coolest thing about it is that both of them cost you $7 American, which is actually a tiny bit cheaper than picking up an Immortal skin and an alternate helmet. I also picked up the Zephyr Monsoon helmet for $6 American in an attempt to fall back in love with the original skin. However, while I really like the structure of the helmet and personally think that it looks better than what we currently have available to us, it just does not save the classic version. In addition, the Hagamaru skin just looks so damn good that it's hard not to use that set in its place. But if you personally like the original skin, I definitely suggest picking this one up. Now, the next few I didn't pick up, but I think they may interest a few of you, starting with the Cronin Aerith skin. Now, this looks absolutely badass and the model is extremely well done. However, I don't really use the Cronin enough to justify picking it up. The Necros Lazarus helmet also looks insanely good, pig snout and all, and I may pick it up eventually. I think that my only hesitation is the fact that it's a bit over the top, and I kinda already like his helmet selection thus far. I'm also a big fan of Volt's Thales helmet. There's something about the faceplate that reminds me of a samurai, and admittedly leaves me a little bit moist in the pants. However, this is Volt, and we all know he's a witch, and I won't be having any of that. Alrighty, there are a ton of other skins available in the Steam Workshop, and I can already tell that this is going to be quite a long video. So be sure to check the market out for yourself. Also take a look at what's currently in development and vote on your favorites. I know that I've definitely got a few helmets and skins that I can't wait to get my hands on. So thank you all for watching another episode of Dressed to Kill. If you have absolutely no clue how to access the Steam Workshop TennoGen skins, check out my PSA on that, as well as my most recent review on the Dojo palette. Now don't forget to do all the things that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay drop dead gorgeous. I'm gonna burp. How can an asteroid have rings?